Well, a very good evening to everyone. My name is Ed Nichols, and as part of Dunstan Activities Centre's virtual hub, which provides services and provides activities for parents, children, teenagers in our community. As part of that virtual hub, we present every week a series called Hear, this kind of hearing, and Now. So in other words, it's a scheme that is designed to listen to what people in our community would have to say and to do it now. And what I mean is, I don't mean that they can come and express their opinions, but if people are needing to talk very badly, really need quite desperately to get things off their chest, feel that they've been storing things up, fears, anxieties, troubles, isolations, whatever, that this service is for you, so that you can come to somebody who's a compassionate listener, trained just to listen as you talk, and basically to allow you to just to get off your chest the things that you need to. Now, there may be loving people around you and your friends and families. That's brilliant, and I encourage you to do that. If you find in them someone who's compassionate, who loves you, who will listen to you, then you've got a very precious jewel in that person. Do take full advantage of it. Do talk when you need to talk. Get everything out of your system which is against you, negatives, hopelessness, what's the point, life's no good. If you any of that kind of stuff, get it off your chest and let this compassionate listener help you. Now, if you cannot find such a compassionate listener, and sometimes we can't, all of us, then you can contact me first of all, Ed Nichols, Nichols. You can contact me on 0191 460 4567. And from that point I can either talk to you or by telephone, or you can email me on ed.nichols, Nichols, @live.com, and I can talk to you by email, or I can set up a FaceTime or a Zoom time with you so that you can talk virtually and get things off your chest. So we're here to help. At some point in the future we may be able to see you face to face as well. So I want to encourage you, if you need to talk, find someone to talk to. And if you cannot, contact us. I encourage you, if it's a long-standing problem, to be in touch with your medical centres. They can provide talking therapies and things like this, counselling, which is good. But if you find that you have to wait for weeks, sometimes that happens, there's a delay and you really need to talk now, then we can bridge that gap. We can set up an opportunity for you to be listened to now. And then you can pick up with your talking therapies later, perhaps. So this service is for you in our communities around. And so let me encourage you, you're not alone. Never think you are. We can all feel alone, but often it isn't the truth. We matter more to people than we think we do. We matter even to strangers, which is a strange thing, isn't it, to say, but actually strangers care about us, whether we live, whether we die, whether we are happy, whether we're depressed. People care more than you think. Not everybody, but there are still those who do. So I want to encourage you. Tonight I'd like to speak about our teenagers, if I may. Look at this picture of this happy group of teenagers. They're all smiling, which is a great thing, isn't it? I don't know about you mums and dads or grandparents, aunts and uncles who have teenagers in your family, whether you would agree with me, but I believe our teenagers are under more pressure today than ever. I think being a teenager is a bit of a stressful time for us all, isn't it? Even I can remember stressful times, you know. But I think today it's far more stressful. And often I believe that our teenagers need to be able to talk about the things that bother them. And therefore, we who are older need to see that even though they've got loving and kind parents, that what our teenagers need is a broad base of friendship. A broad base of people who will take the time to speak to them, to listen to them, not rubbish what they say, because sometimes, you know, we might say, oh, that's a load of rubbish, of course, you know, you worry about that. And of course, that isn't helpful to talk like that, is it? It might be a load of rubbish to us, but to them it's not. So we need a broad base. So we need more than just mums and dads. We do need sisters, brothers within the family, that's very helpful. But beyond that, you need uncles, aunts, you need grandfather, grandmothers, nanas, whatever. You need, and even beyond that, friends. In Africa, they have a saying, to bring up a child takes a whole village of people. In other words, everybody in that village can take a part, can play a part in bringing that child, that young person up in positive ways where they have self-esteem, self-worth, feel life is worth living, feel that if they ever have any problems, there's plenty of people to talk to. I think in our Gateshead communities we could adopt that. It takes a whole community to bring up a child. It takes a whole community to bring up a teenager so that they have well-being and high self-esteem. It takes more than just mum and dad. Sometimes mums and dads can be at their wits' end when it's just them, and they feel that basically, you know, whether their kids are happy, their teenagers are happy or not happy, is all down to them. It's too much of a burden for any human being. But when you spread it out across a broad base of relatives, friends, whoever, then it works. Parents can play probably the most important part in all of that, but not the only part. Others can just be working with them. How? Nothing magical. Do you need to be a specially skilled therapist, counsellor? I don't believe so. I believe what you do need is to be just skilled in listening. Skilled in looking at a person's eyes and seeing if the lights are on. Skilled in being sensitive to our teenagers. Sometimes they don't want to tell you about it. Sometimes they make you feel guilty about it. They may be ashamed. They may be embarrassed. It's not what they want to talk about. So can you see, if you are one of these special people who can learn to listen and engage with them, then you may be able to get them to talk. You don't look very happy today. Is everything okay? They'll usually say, yeah, that's the first thing, you know, but say, well, you don't look happy. You say, you know, is there anything I can help you with? Sometimes it's good to talk, you know. I used to be a teenager once, you know. You know, that usually gets a smile. Tell me about it. I don't believe you're very happy. Something happened. Keep at it until they open up. Once they open up, it's time to shut up, incidentally. Once they've opened up, it's time for me and you to zip it and let them talk. But we want our teenagers to be able to find people, more than their parents, who will listen to them, of their concerns. Let them get it off their chest, out of their system, and perhaps at the end of a long listen, see if we can't make some very helpful and kind comments. Probably nothing more. If you're a person who can do that for the teenagers in your family or in your organizations or in your homes, then you're a very special and very necessary person in our communities. And can I encourage us all in our communities as well to take that African model? Remember, it takes a whole village to bring up a child. It takes up a whole village to bring up a teenager. So that when you see teenagers, you know, let's not be so stupid and old, you know, and say because we saw one kid misbehaving that they're all you know, louts or whatever. Teenagers always misbehaved. I don't know about you. If I was being really brutally honest, I misbehaved as a teenager. Sometimes people might look at me and think, dear me, I hope they're not all like him. You see, teenagers, you know, sometimes they're trying things on and they're wrong and they do stupid things. I did stupid things, I really did. So even if we don't even know teenagers, let's not tar them all with the same brush. When I was teaching, what I realised was this: when all the kids went home, probably 500-600 kids all left, you know, went up the drive and then went down the road home. It took one kid to do something stupid and wrong that would upset the whole street, or at least one person in the street, and that person would complain, and they usually complain something like this: all these kids that come out your school, dear me, they're hooligans, or they're this, or they're that, or the other. And when we investigated, you know what we found? It used to be one or two. Not all of them, but you see how easy it is to tar them all with the same brush. These are special young people who are learning to become adult. They're not adult. Sometimes they've got emotionally they're like children, but they're in a woman's body or a man's body. And their adolescence is not being adult or child, it's something in the middle, isn't it? They're becoming adult. They're moving away from childhood into adulthood. So that's a very, very vulnerable sort of a time of their life that they're in. But we can help them. We can help them. So I want to encourage you to be very generous towards them. You know, you can just say hello to people. You know, in our community, hello is good. You know, to young people, I mean, we usually say good morning and hello to people generally, but it's nice to say to our young people, you know, just things, you know, just simple things. You looking forward to Christmas? What's it like at school these days? You know, they'll tell you, they'll talk, and it makes them feel part of a community who cares about them. So let's be that type of people. This picture of these happy teenagers, I would like to see duplicated on every teenager in our communities. Let me just give you just a few examples of things that upset me. A father was telling me recently that he got a phone call from Darlington railway station. And the station master there said, are you such and such? And the guy said, yeah. He says, I've got your daughter on the line, she wants to speak to you. And basically the father's thinking, Darlington? My daughter's in Darlington, what's she in Darlington for? And anyway, what had happened was this girl, 14, being terribly bullied at school, never shared it with her parents. Although it was obvious that she wasn't happy, but yet they didn't pick up on it. Sometimes, you know, we parents were so busy with work and one thing and another that we don't realise that actually having time with our kids so that we can notice how they are is very important. Today it's all about money, they need this, they need that, and that's just pressure, and I do understand that. But you know, sometimes if we can, let's not get so materialistically minded that we've really no time to notice our kids. This father was then was then speaking to his daughter, and his daughter just was crying and said, Dad, would you come and get me? I'm in Darlington. And eventually when he got her and had the conversation, she'd been being bullied for months, never shared it. And so her reaction to that was, I'll jump on a train and go and see my older sister. I'll jump on a train. Perhaps she can help. You see, sometimes we parents, you know, we need to realise that our kids need more than us. It's not just about mom, dad, you know, and our children. It's good for them to have a broader base of people who can be friends, who can listen to them and help them. It's very healthy. So that really saddened this father very much. It saddened me to hear the story, but once she did open up and the parents did realise that she'd been going through this for some time, they contacted the school and eventually got it sorted out. Do you know, our young people need to talk. They need to talk. I heard of a girl locally recently, just a couple of months back, was bullied, you know, cyber-bullied as they say. Somebody had been on FaceTime and had said to this girl, you know, oh, you're just no good, you're useless at everything. You know, I don't know what you come to school for. Why don't you just kill yourself? When I heard this, I was absolutely shocked. But you know, if you ask about, that isn't as rare as you think. Children can be very, very cruel. Young people can be very cruel too. And basically, this man had gone round, a family friend had gone round and spoken to this young woman who had been bullied, and was able to say to her, you know, you're a very fine young woman. But you mustn't listen to silly people like this. They hurt you deeply. But basically was encouraging this young woman to talk. You see, it's easy for us to say these things, but then this guy realised, no, I need to listen. How is she feeling about this? What is she? And he got her to talk it all out. By the end of the conversation, he was able to offer a few things that might help. And so, at the end, she was helped. Then they tried to get it sorted out at school. And our young people are subject to these awful things happening. Some of them, not all of them, thank goodness. But many of them have all kinds of uncertainties. You know, are they handsome? Are they beautiful? Are they desirable? Will anybody want them? Will they get a Valentine's Day card? You know, to a young woman, getting a Valentine's Day card in your teen years is very important. It says somebody out there finds me attractive. If they don't get one, it says nobody out there finds me attractive. I heard of very sensitive grandparents who realised this, and they actually sent their granddaughter a Valentine's Day card, or their grandson a Valentine's Day card. Didn't say it was from them, obviously, but then, so they would go, hey, Nana, I got a Valentine's Day card today. Oh, right, who was that from? Oh, I don't know. And it made them feel good. You see, they're very, very going through a very difficult time. Sometimes the pressure of education, I believe in education, but I don't believe that education should be a continual pressure. I don't believe in that at all. That isn't education, that's slavery to me. And I used to teach for 21 years, so, you know, I've got a bit of background. Now, I think we need to encourage our children to do the best and be the best that they can be in life, to realise their potential, but not under the pressure of things. Not to be better than others. Not that kind of approach. Not to put education too high so that it almost becomes a god to be worshipped. Education's too high if we make it like that. Obviously we all want our kids to do well, and should. But there's a way to bring that about, and there's a way not to bring it about. I don't know about all of you parents and adults out there generally, but I don't know what I'm 77 and I'm still learning how to relate to people, how to listen, how to shut up and let others say what they feel. It's quite a lifelong process. I'm still learning, I freely admit it, you know. Got a long way to go as well. But as we all do our part in listening to teenagers, in esteeming them, by our noticing of them. Hello there, nice to see you, you know, whatever. Just a passing thing. It just says, we care. We care for you. And if we are closer and can notice them, see if the light's on in their eyes or out, determined by their body language just how secure and safe they feel, and then try to get them to open up and talk to us as we listen compassionately, then we will have done an awful lot to ensure that all our children, our young people, smile as much as this happy group of teenagers are in this graphic. So may we all do our part. Let's remember, in all our Gateshead and Newcastle communities, it takes a whole community to bring up a child, to bring up a teenager. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.